Good evening and Shabbat Shalom. My name is Paulette Gindler. I am the Ritual Committee Chairperson for Temple Emanuel. I'm standing up here tonight in lieu of Rabbi Farb because if you have not yet read your email, Linda Arredondo and Rabbi Farb welcomed their baby boy to the world today, just shortly after noon. Joshua Alessandro Farb weighed in at 7.8 pounds and is 20 3/4 inches. Mazel tov, you two. And how good it is that we can join together in the sanctuary and at home or wherever you might be this evening. It's always good when brothers and sisters can live together in unity. Hine ma tovu manaim, shevet ahim gam yahad. Hine ma tovu manaim, shevet ahim gam yahad. Hine ma tov, shevet ahim gam yahad. Hine Tov, shevet ahim gam yahad. Hine ma tovu manaim, shevet ahim gam yahad. Hine ma tovu manaim, shevet ahim gam yahad. Where has this week vanished? Is it lost forever? Will I ever recover anything from it? The joy of life, the unexpected victory, the realized hope, the task accomplished. Will I ever be able to banish the memory of pain, the sting of defeat, the heaviness of boredom? On this day, let me keep a while what must drift away. On this day, let me be free of the burdens that must return. On this day, Shabbat, abide. I'd like to call Isabel Mercado up to bless the Shabbat candles for us.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the lights of Shabbat.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light. Maya Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Maya Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. we join together in welcoming Shabbat. As we sing Lechadodi, we will rise when we reach the final verse and turn to face the entryway of our sacred space to welcome the Shabbat bride into our presence. Those of you who are joining us remotely may pray with rising and turning at the end of the song towards the entryway of your own sacred space this evening, welcoming Shabbat into wherever it is that you pray tonight. The Talmud tells us that if it is difficult to rise, one should remain seated while rising in their heart. We join together now in Lechadodi. Lechadodi likrat kala, P'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lechadodi likrat kala, P'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'sachor b'diburei had, Hishmianu el hamyuhad, Adonai ehad, Ushemo ehad, L'shem tiferet v'tehila. Lechadodi, Lechadodi likrat kala, P'nei Shabbat nekavela. Lechadodi likrat kala, P'nei Shabbat nekavela. Likrat Shabbat lehu v'nelecha, Ki memakor habraha, Mehirosh mekedem nesuka, Sof ma'aseh v'mashavat tehila. Lechadodi, Lechadodi likrat kala, P'nei Shabbat nekavela. Lechadodi likrat kala, P'nei Shabbat nekabela. Yazminu mor tifrotzi, Ve'et Adonai taretzi, Al yad ishben partetzi, V'nismecha v'nagila. Lechadodi, Lechadodi likrat kala, P'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lechadodi likrat kala, P'nei Shabbat nekabela. We rise. Vohi v'shalom ateret ba'ala, Gam simka u'bsohola, Tokemune am segula, Boi kala. Lechadodi, Lechadodi likrat kala, P'nei Shabbat nekavela. Lechadodi likrat kala, P'nei Shabbat nekavela. You may be seated. Shalom Aleichem, Malakei Hasharet, Malakei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malakei Hamlakim HaKadosh, Baruch Hu. Bohem l'shalom, Malakei Hashalom, Malakei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malakei Hamlakim HaKadosh, Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu ni l'shalom. Malakim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Say Hem LaShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei Halakim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlakim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, v'yamad divrah hikutei v'yamlik makutei, v'hayehon uv'yomehon, ukayeh kol beit Yisrael, bagala, bagala, uvizman kariv, v'yimiru, Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah mevorach, le'alam olal me'on maya, yitbarach, yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal, shemei l'kedusha bariku. Le'ela min kol becheta v'shirata, tushbehata v'ne'mata, damani al me'alma, v'yimiru. Amen. We rise. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Sebaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Everlasting love, you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem, Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. You may be seated. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, Vinishitam levanecha vidibarta bam. Veshiftika veyatecha uvleka derek. Ushaftika uvkomeka. Ushakta tam leod al yadecha. Vehayule totafot beinenecha. Ucharftam al muzazot beiteka uvishareka. Leman tistiru va'asitem ekol mitzvotai v'yetem kedoshim leoehem. Ani Adonai Elohehem aser hotziechem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohehem. Together. You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. Take to heart these instructions with which I charge you this day. Impress them upon your children. Recite them when you stay at home and when you are away, when you lie down and when you get up. Bind them as a sign on your hand and let them serve as a symbol on your forehead. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Thus you shall remember to observe all my commandments and be holy to your God. I am Adonai, your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am Adonai, your God. Adonai Elohem Emet. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love. From bondage in Egypt, we were delivered. At Sinai, we bound ourselves to your way. Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again, we overcame oppressive forces. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be at one and at peace. Then we will rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea. Mi kamoka bailim Adonai, vi kamocha nedar bar kodesh, no ratehilot o sefele, no ratehilot o sefele, malchut techa varanu vanecha, Bokei ayam lifnei Moshe uMiriam, Ze'eli anu ve'ameru, Ze'eli venu ve'ameru, Adonai imlok le'olam va'ed, Adonai imlok le'olam va'ed. V'ne'emar ki fada Adonai et Yaakov, ugalo miyad yatzak mimenu, Baruch atah Adonai Ga'al Yisrael. I treated you to several tunes within that one tune. I kind of got lost there for a second. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom leharidenu shomreinu v'kaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom leharidenu shomreinu v'kaim. Grant, O God, that we lie down in peace and rise us up, our guardian, to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel. For your name's sake, be our help. Shield and shelter us beneath the shadow of your wings. Defend us against enemies, illness, war, famine, and sorrow. Distance us from wrongdoing, for you, God, watch over us and deliver us. For you, God, are gracious and merciful. Guard our going and coming to life and to peace evermore. Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem. Baruch atah Adonai haporeh sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat לדורותם ברית עולם, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. בני ובין בני ישראל, או תהי לעולם, או תהי לעולם. Otehi leolam, vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Kishisheya amin asa Adonai et ha-shamayim ve'et haaretz vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat torotam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi'i shavat vayinafash, shavat vayinafash, shavat vayinafash. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. The people of Israel shall keep Shabbat, observing Shabbat through the ages as a covenant for all time. It is a sign of all time between me and the people of Israel. For 6 days Adonai made heaven and earth, and on the seventh day God ceased from work and was refreshed. Please rise. We rise now for the Amidahs. We stand praying in God's presence. Adonai sefatai titach ufi agi tehilatecha. Adonai sefatai titach ufi agi tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoteinu v'imotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Anorah, Elyon, Gomer Hasadim Tovim ve'Konei Hakol, ve'Socher Hasdei ve'Avot ve'Imaot, Vivegula ibnei bneihem le'eman shemo behava. Melech ozer u'moshia u'magen. Baruch atah Adonai magen Avraham ve'zerat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai mekayeh hakol atah rav lo hoshia. Mashiv Haruch Morid Hagashem Mekahel Haim Behesed Mekayeh HaKol Berakamim Rabim Somech noflim verofle holim, umatir asurim, umekayem emumato lishene afar, michamo chabal givurot, umidomelach, melech memit umekaye, umasmiach Yeshua, ve'enena natale hayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, mekaye hakol. Atah kadosh v'simcha kadosh, ikurushim kol yom haluach hasela. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. Shalom Rahav, Am Yisrael Amha, Tatzim Leolam. Shalom Rahav, Am Yisrael Amha, Tatzim Leolam, Tatzim Leolam. Grant abundant peace to Israel, your people forever. For you are the sovereign God of all peace. May it be pleasing to you to bless your people Israel in every season and every moment with your peace. Blessed are you, Adonai, who blesses your people Israel with peace. Baruch atah Adonai hamavarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocates among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among the inhabitants of our world. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, Adonai, who blesses your people with peace. Baruch atah Adonai hamavarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. You may be seated or continue in silent prayer. Oh, say shalom bimrumav, say shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imiru, v'imiru, amen. Oh, say shalom bimrumav, say shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, v'imru, amen. Say shalom, say shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, say shalom. Say shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al Yisrael, Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. V'miru, Amen. Genesis 24 says, "So Jacob was left alone, and a man wrestled with him until daybreak." Just who was he wrestling? Now, our sages say that Jacob wrestled with his guardian angel. Hosea says it was an angel of God. Jacob pretty much is certain that he was actually fighting with God. The next morning, he names the place Peniel, which means face of God, because he says, "I saw God face to face." But here's an interesting theory. What if Jacob was not wrestling with another person, an angel or God, but with his own troubled conscience? Think about it. The last time he saw his brother Esau, 22 years ago, Jacob had done some really despicable things. He took advantage of his brother's impulsive personality by obtaining his birthright in exchange for stew. And he conspired with his mother, Rebekah, to trick Isaac out of giving Esau the blessing due to the firstborn and took it for himself. Since that time, Jacob too had been tricked when his uncle Laban married him to the wrong girl. Perhaps over time, he came to see that it doesn't feel so good to be the tricky instead of the trickster. And now he is on the precipice of seeing his brother again, someone he had greatly wronged. Jacob seems to be a person who is tortured by the thoughts of what he had done. He's reminded that his name Jacob means he deceives. He spent the better part of his time at home competing to one-up his brother to take a place to which he has no right. Jacob is afraid, and rightly so, that Esau may have murderous intentions. If you remember, back a few parsha ago, when Esau left, he said, "When I get the chance, I'm going to kill my brother." Jacob spends the night grappling with the idea of what he's done and why he deserves whatever Esau does to him. The Torah continues. When the man saw that he could not overpower him, he touched the socket of Jacob's hip so that his hip was wrenched as he wrestled with the man. So what's the deal with Jacob's hip being dislocated? Jewish mystics say that the body is divided into three sections: head, torso, legs, which correspond to mind, emotion, and action. The hip joint represents the separation between the higher order of thinking and feeling and the lower order of endurance and action. In other words, survival. When Jacob comes to the morally mature decision to meet Esau and take whatever comes his way, the weight that comes from years of guilt leaves his shoulders, and he renames himself Israel. He has struggled and prevailed. Whether it is visible or not, all of us limp from the struggle of honoring our higher angels and our innate instinct for survival. Survival from humiliation, survival from getting into trouble, survival from having to admit that we are wrong. Psalm 30 tells us that weeping may tarry for the night, but joy comes with the morning. And so it happens with Jacob and Esau. Jacob knew that he had done wrong, but now he knew he had to make it right. He had to take the first step. But then Esau made the first step, threw his arms around Israel, kissed him, and forgave him. They both weep, and Jacob tells Esau that seeing his face is like seeing God, and gives him a blessing. Finally, the blessing that was Esau's all along. Shabbat Shalom. we take a moment to say a prayer of healing for all of those who are in need of healing. We've asked God to watch over those who seek peace in the land of Israel and around the world, to guide them and give them strength in their mission. We ask for God to watch all of those around the world who are suffering during this difficult time, where they are affected by physical or spiritual illness, whether they are affected by natural disaster or active violence. We ask God to watch over them and bring refuah shlema, a complete and full healing, and for God to watch over all of us who are affected by this global pandemic, which continues on even as we begin to hope for a complete recovery and complete healing for this world. We ask for God to be with those who are still affected directly or indirectly by this terrible virus. Lastly, God is always over to watch over our first responders and members of our armed forces, to watch over them as they watch over us. In particular, we ask for God's healing presence to be with Tal Hasson, Jacob Hasson, Meyer Ben Esther, James Dutremaine, Oscar Garcia, Yosef Ben Matilda, Soni Bat Malka, Ilan Ben Soni, Mike Ginsberg, Ileana Bat Sarah Va'abraham, Neshama Bat Sarah Va'abraham, Craig Beckerman, Olga Gabriel, Mike Blum, Jeff Gabriel, Candy London, Teresa Alma Thomas Paredes, Alma Di Gonzalez, Rochel Desfora Bat Hana Rivka, Diana Garcia, Angela Winehouse, Jack Wernick, Amy Ginger, and Michael Levine. If you are praying for anyone within your circle of concern, please share your name now as I look towards you. You may also put their name in the chat or speak their name aloud or in your heart, and God will hear. As always, if you know of any names that should be included in our list of public prayers so that we may pray for healing together, please contact Rabbi Farb in the office during the week so that we may include their name next week. We now join together in the singing of the Misha Berach. Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor habraha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishe Berak Imotenu Mekor Habraha Leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. May God's healing presence come swiftly and soon to all those who are in need of healing, as we say together, Amen. O guardian of life and liberty, may our nation always merit your protection. Teach us to give thanks for what we have by sharing it with those who are in need. Keep our eyes open to the wonders of creation and alert to the care of the earth. May we never be lazy in the work of peace. May we honor those who have died in defense of our ideals. Grant our leaders wisdom and forbearance. May they govern with justice and compassion. Help us all to appreciate one another and to respect the many ways that we may serve you. May our homes be safe from affliction and strife, and our country be sound in body and spirit. Amen. Avinu Shabashamayim, Sur Yisrael ve'go'olo, Barech et Medinat Yisrael Reshit, Medinat Ge'ulutenu. O Heavenly One, Protector and Redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love. Spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. Amen. We rise now as we enter the concluding portion of our service, beginning with Aleinu. Aleinu leshabeach la'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשן כל כארצות, ולא שמענו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים, לפני מלך מלכי הלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומשיב קרוב בשמיים ממעל, ושינתו זו לגוהי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפסולתו, כתוב בתורתו, וידעת יום והושבות אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא אלוהים, בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. You may be seated. There are stars up above so far away that we only see their light long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us. As we live our days, these are the ways we remember. At this time, we remember all of those in our own community who have died in recent days, including Rachel Pena and Shirley Tepper, and those who have died within 30 days, including Lillian Thomas, as well as all those who have died in the past year, including John Brown, Dora Goldberg-Friedman, Lionel Getz, Labish Yehuda Ben Pinchas, Lenora Nodi Pearson-Gent, Dr. Marco Antonio Trejo Ruseco, Michelle Bernstein, Juanita Schreiber-Kaufman, Stuart Klein, Larry Allen Wayner, Michael Kotwowski, Vincente Navarro, and Jose Luis Trujillo Jimenez. Yard sites for this week are Aaron Heller, Carmela Heller, and Marcos Wolowski. If you are in a period of mourning now or remembering a loved one, please rise and share their name as I look towards you. You may also say their names aloud or in your heart, and God will hear. If it is your custom to rise with those who mourn, please rise now for the Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabah, v'alma divra hikute v'yamlich malchute, v'hayachon uv'yomechon uv'kaye de kol bet Yisrael, ba'agala uv'zman kariv v'imru amen, yehe shmei rabah mevorach, le'olam ul al me'almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, v'yitaleh, v'yitalal, shemei de kudesha b'richu, le'ilah mikol b'chirta v'chirata, tush b'chata v'nechamata, da'al miran be'alma v'imru amen. Yesh lama barin shamaya, v'kayem aleinu v'akol Yisrael v'imiru amen. Osei shalom b'imrumav, uyasei shalom, aleinu v'akol Yisrael Vimru. Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to all of us, to all of Israel, and to all the world. And together we say, you may be seated. We do have a few announcements this evening. If you are planning on attending services in person, please keep the following in mind. Anyone who is experiencing symptoms or has been recently exposed to COVID-19 should attend Shabbat services online. In accordance with current local and national guidance, wearing a mask is encouraged in the Temple Emanuel building. Please continue to take sensible precautions to protect yourself and others. Please follow all posted guidelines and announcements. If you are attending services remotely, you can let us know how we're doing during or after the service by posting in the chat of whichever program you are using. We monitor and respond to these messages during services as needed. Upcoming events at Temple Emanuel. There will be no Torah study tomorrow morning. A new alternative to Zoom, join Discord. I think this might be no longer applicable. Morning service, 10:30 by Zoom, Facebook Live, or YouTube, or in person in the sanctuary. All services are followed by an oneg in the social hall. There will be no Introduction to Judaism class next week, no Beginner's Hebrew weekly classes next week. B'sha'ah tova to Rabbi and Linda, who will be welcoming their new son born today into the congregation. They will be bringing him into the covenant of the Jewish people on his 8th day, which is expected to be on Friday, November 26th at 11:30 a.m. at Temple Emanuel. The grandparents, Alan and Linda Farb, will be hosting a Kiddush luncheon to follow. All are invited, but RSVP is required. The first Shabbat of each month is a family-friendly service. 6:30 p.m. dinner, RSVP, 7:30 family service. Join our bingo fun. Bingo returns in 2021. Bring the whole family to play and support our Temple Youth Group on Sunday, December 5th from 5 to 8 p.m. The Temple Hanukkah dinner is on the same evening from 5 to 8 p.m. Anyone who is able to do so is asked to please bring a small wrapped gift to give us away as a prize. Please indicate with a note if this present is for a boy or girl, young child, older child, or adult. Thank you for bringing a smile to a face this Hanukkah. Drop it off at the temple office anytime before the event or bring it with you. We have a few birthdays this week. Dahlia Guerra's birthday was Sunday, November 14th. Aaron Fox's birthday Monday, November 15th, as well as Danielle Deutsch and Jonah Goldberg on the same day. Emily Gerwitz had her birthday on Thursday, November 18th. Happy birthday to everybody. If you know of any simchas in the community, such as births, new homes, promotions, or awards, please contact the temple office or Rabbi Farb so that we can celebrate your blessing together. And as we finish our service for tonight, I would like to call up the other two members of the Jew crew, as we like to call ourselves, to sing Adon Olam. Adon Olam Asher Malach V'et Nasa V'et Soko Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Ve'acharei Kilot HaKol Levado Yimlok Nora Vehu Haya Vehu Hove Vehu Yeh B'tifara Vehu Yeh B'tifara Vehu Ehad V'ein Sheni Lehamshilo Lehakvira Beli Reshi Beli Taklit Velo Haoz Vehamitra Velo Haoz Vehamitra Vehu Eli Vehayago Eli Vetzur Hebli Vetzara Vehu Nisi Umanosli Menat Kosi Veyom Ekra Menat Kosi Veyom Ekra Veyado Akiruhi Beit Ishan Veyaira Veimruhi Geviati Adonai Li Velo Ira Adonai Li Velo Ira. Into your hand I commit my spirit when I sleep and when I wake. Shabbat Shalom.